This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are. Thank you for downloading this SmackDown review as part of the WWE podcast. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along. I am Amanda, your host of this SmackDown review. Before we get started with this week's review, let's have a quick look back on WrestlePalooza. What did you guys think of it? I've heard lots of quite negative reviews on the event from podcasts, news and etc. I thought it was an okay PLE, a solid 6 I would say. I guess if I was an ESPN executive, having paid a shit ton of money for the privilege, I would definitely be hoping for a better PLE next time around. Pleased that Stephanie McMahon has been announced as an inductee into the Hall of Fame for next year. She deserves that for sure. And as for the matches, well, let's have a look. CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth and Becky in the mixed tag match. Well, I think it was a good match. Apparently it was the longest match of AJ Lee's career ever. I had AJ and Punk to win, and they did. Thankfully for me, at least, there wasn't any boy-on-girl attacks to speak of, and now I want to see AJ in a program with Becky for the Intercontinental belt, and I hope that's where we're going. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Got this wrong, as I had Cena to win. It was an absolute squash for Lesnar in the end, which left me with a meh and no intro of Cena's last opponent, and no clues as to who it might be. We couldn't be continuing with Brock, could we? Surely not, please God. Women's World Championship, we had Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. As predicted by me, hurrah, Stephanie is our new champion, and what a match it was. No shenanigans from Asuka here. They waited until Raw for the Kairi and Asuka attack on Rhea and Io, and that should be a very fun program. Undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. Had this as a Cody win, and he did. I'm very pleased. We had the Usos, so Jimmy and Jay versus the Vision, the Bronze, and we got the Vision win as expected. No heel turn for Jay yet, but I still feel like it's coming. Maybe I am miles off the mark, but I feel like it's coming. No other returns. I had suggested maybe that we might see Liv, but I think we're still far too early for her, although she has been posting some spoilers on her socials of her back with Dom and his belts, so we can't be too far off. So no real significant returns except McAfee, which was nice but doesn't count as a return. All in all, a bit underwhelming really, and McAfee only stayed for 2 or 3 matches. It's just all a bit weird. But anyway, WWE, another new era, this one the ESPN era, so yeah, good times. Let's see. Anyway, let's get to it and review the SmackDown that aired September 26th from Orlando, Florida, and revisiting our occasional series of where I have been in America. Obviously, everyone in the world's been to Orlando, done the parks a couple of times. It's very hot and sweaty there. That's really all I've got to say. So we kick off with the arrivals. We see Tiffany arriving for a triple threat tonight with Jade and Nia. And then we see Sammy, and he's going to host another US Open Championship match tonight later against a mystery opponent. Don't know who that is. And oh God, Cole is on comms, and he's got Booker T with him as Corey is out for a couple of weeks after Brock's attack on him. Oh, God, it's going to be a long night. So we kick off with Heyman in the ring, mic in hand, and he says that there is so much for him to talk about and only 2 hours. He goes on to talk about Unreal and say that if anyone's watched it, you'll know that everyone's sitting in Gorilla saying, don't give Heyman a live mic, he can go on for 2 hours, but he says not to worry, he's not. Instead, he's going to paraphrase a pseudo champion, and he's going to ask Orlando what they want to talk about. He says, do you want to talk about Seth? And the crowd boo, and then they cheer for the OTC instead. Heyman said that he would love to talk about the OTC, but it's disrespectful to speak of the injured. More boos from the crowd. He suggests, shall we talk about Bron Breakker, the guy who will lead WWE into the 2030s? Pretty much tumbleweed for that one, and he says perhaps we should talk about the conspiracy theories around Brock Lesnar. Again, nothing much doing, and at that point we get Cody's music hit, and he is out to the usual massive pop. Cody grabs a mic and says to Heyman, did everyone get a chance to watch the WrestlePalooza recap? He says that he made a mistake last week calling Heyman a goon, and actually Heyman is one of the most intelligent people he knows, and that he loves to disrupt and annoy, and at the moment he has the whole locker room wound up. Cody asks Heyman to tell him about Brock Lesnar. He says he can't come out here without evidence, so he asks for the bit of the recap package that we've just seen on SmackDown, showing Brock and Heyman together to be shown up on the big screen, and it is. Cody says that it doesn't look to him like a one-night thing. He says, am I talking to the Oracle, or to the Wise Man, or to the Advocate? Heyman tells him that he's talking to the GOAT, and as the GOAT, he respects the fact that Cody is confronting him about Brock, as he knows, like everyone else knows, that when Brock is around, people are in danger. Heyman says the good news is Brock isn't here, but as he says that, we get the Bronze come to the ring, and Heyman tells Cody that he is in danger, and he slinks away. Cody says that he guesses it's about time. He keeps hearing how dangerous they both are. He says, at your age, I would have killed to be a Heyman guy, but here is some advice. He says he grew up the son of a booker, and he's seen it all. He says you can't always tell why they're doing what they're doing, and no one has figured out Heyman yet. And he asks who they think Heyman is loyal to, and he says one thing he can guarantee is that Heyman isn't loyal to the Bronze. The Bronze are shaping up for a fight, and Cody takes the initiative and attacks them, almost managing to hit Crossroads, but soon enough we get what we get, and the Bronze take control, beating down Cody, and we get Randy's music hit, and he's back to make the save, taking out the Bronze as Cody and Randy clear the ring. Heyman is in absolute shock ringside. And as Randy hands the title back to Cody, we get a bit of a lingering shot on the handover. Well, what started as a standard show open with the Vision once again turned good when Randy came out, and the lingering look he gives the title tells its own story. So I'm guessing we are finally going to get Randy Cody sometime soon for the title, and that is good. Maybe it's just me, but I am already pretty bored of the Vision. I'm no Seth fan anyway, and I'm sure that doesn't help. But I'm just left totally cold by the whole thing. I usually really like what Heyman brings, but even his bits of this storyline seem a bit paint by numbers. And honestly, if I wasn't doing this show right now, this podcast, I would definitely have just fast forwarded these segments, because I am just really not that interested. The Vision opening the show or ending the show has probably been 90% of what we've seen on SmackDown since they came into our lives. And it's just all a bit much. Just my opinion. Love to know what you guys think. Backstage, we go to Cathy Kelly, who has with her the Profits, who are still a team for now. She asks them about the tension, but they shut her down, and they tell her they have each other's backs, and when they fail, they come back stronger. They say all the haters that thought they were splitting up, they are back, and they want the smoke. And it also looks like the Red Cups are back, so that must mean everything's okay, right? So this is a number one contenders match. This is the Profits versus Mellow Don't Miz. Pretty muted response to the Profits and Miz, but Mello actually gets quite a decent pop from this crowd. Profits in all black ring gear, so let's test for my theory that when faces suddenly wear black, does that indicate shenanigans and a heel turn is on the way? This one kicks off with Mello and Miz battering forward in the corner and starts off with some pretty good moves from them. Soon enough, though, we get the Profits take charge, mostly using the power game of Dawkins, but Mello and Miz actually working nicely together take them out on the outside. As per, we get Miz trying to steal the glory, and they end up having a Barney, allowing the Profits back in. Ford goes off the top and gets the pin on Miz, and Mello was right there and could have broken the cover, but decides not to. So the Profits win, and then we have the Wyatt Six at ringside looking top spooky wookie. So we've got the Profits versus Wyatt Six for the tag title again. And does this finally mean that Miz and Mello are over? I feel like I've said that before, more than once, more than twice, maybe 3 times. But surely there is no coming back this time. The Profits are number 1 contenders and will face Wyatt Six at some point. And I'm guessing we're going to get more cracks showing between them, probably as a result of more mind games from Uncle Howdy. Hopefully, meaning the actual end for the Street Profits. Let's see. I guess this one is probably going to be for Crown Jewel in Australia, which gives us a nice few weeks to build the story. Backstage now, Kathy Kelly has Jade, and she asks Jade what her mindset is. She says dominance is her mindset. She says she's so sick of these women and is going to feel so good when she is the new champion later. Stephanie Vaquer comes into shot and tells Jade once she wins, and Jade tells her, that once she wins tonight, a storm will be coming her way at Crown Jewel. Well, another astoundingly empty Jade promo. I mean, what's she sick of, these women? What? Why? Just altogether utter bobbins. Please don't let her get the belt. She's sick of these women. And that's the reason why you're going to suddenly be a champion tonight and just a storm is coming. Great. Awesome. No. Just no. No. And now we've got Julia and Kiana James versus Meechin and B-Fab. Kiana here with her handbag once again. And this one is underway. B-Fab is in with Kiana James. B-Fab doing pretty well early on, getting a close cover. Quickly, the tag is made to Meechin, who also gets a quick cover. And these two, B-Fab and Meechin, I have no problem with these guys as a tag team. Obviously, after WWE over the last few years have released most of their tag teams, both male and female, I think this is actually a pretty good pairing. So yeah, Meechin and B-Fab doing well. Once we get Julia in, though, she very quickly shows her class. She's head and shoulders above all the 3 rest of these women that are in this matchup. She, though, to be fair, gets tagged to Kiana James, who is actually pretty good too, and she pretty much kicks B-Fab's head off. This one finishes with Julia hitting Northern Lights bomb on Meechin and getting the win. Not surprising at all. I would have picked Julia to win this one, and hopefully now we can move away from Meechin challenging constantly for the title. Julia and Kiana James look good, and the match was decent. Booker T on comms though, Jesus, give me strength. So we've got 2 good tag teams here. Kiana James and Julia looking good, and as I've said, Meechin and B-Fab, I like them too. Obviously Julia is currently the champion as well. So in terms of the mid-card belt, things are looking okay and in safe hands. We then go to Bliss and Flair backstage, who apparently were watching this match on the telly. They're approached by Sol Ruka and Zarya from NXT. They say that they have admired Flair and Bliss for a long time now and they want a title shot. Flair tells them that even she can't wave her hand and get them a title shot as there are teams waiting in line. She tells them they haven't earned it. Sol Ruka says that's rich coming from Flair. Shots fired. Bliss says that her and Flair may argue and bicker, but when the bell rings, they're all business. She tells them they have to prove themselves and get in line. And Flair very much approves of that and tells Bliss, well done. And these two seem to be firmly cemented together at the moment, and that is okay with me. I'm enjoying their run very much, and I'm enjoying their work together. And I really like seeing Flair over with the crowd for a change. It's nice. We now get Drew coming out, and he's wearing a boot on his injured leg, and I have no idea if that's real or a work. He doesn't sell his entrance at all. He even ignores his own pyro. Before we hear from Drew on the mic, we get a Triple H promo for Crown Jewel, and the stupid, huge, blingy belts and rings are back. Oh, good. I'm very much like with King and Queen of the Ring and those crowns. We're going to feature them for the next couple of weeks and then forget about them for the rest of the year until the next time Crown Jewel comes round. It's all just a bit stupid, but hey, it's wrestling. And at Crown Jewel, this was a surprise to me, and maybe I haven't been on social media that much this week. Maybe this is why it's confirmed we've got Cena and AJ Styles. And I thought to myself, well, you've completely missed that somehow. I don't know how. There was no build, no nothing as far as I heard for it. Then Cole says that this was what the WWE fans demanded, and they got it. Excellent. So guys, maybe we can influence these storylines. So what do we want to see? Let's put a pin in that and come back to it. And now we do hear from Drew. He says that it's just occurred to him that this is the same arena he returned to in 2017, and this is where he won his second WWE Championship. And this is the same arena where he should have walked out as champion, but he isn't champion, and that's thanks to Cody. He says that Cody is always one step ahead. He says the ref took an extra 6 seconds to get into the ring for the pin, and then he questions the ref getting between them when he stopped him giving him the Claymore. He asks if the refs work for WWE or do they work for Cody. He says he doesn't blame the ref. They've got families to feed, etc. He says he blames Cody. At that point, he's interrupted by Nick Aldis, who says that a lot of the things he says make sense. He says that he does see things from Drew's point of view, but he says this is wrestling, and sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. He tells him that he knows him and he knows that he is better than this. He says that he saw him kick the table, but he doesn't know where the boot came from because it didn't come from the WWE medical team. Drew says that he has his own medical team. Nick says to stop the excuses and to say he isn't. Stop saying that he isn't champ due to corruption, which is insane. And he says he has to draw the line somewhere. He says the rest decision is final, and that's the end of it. And he leaves. Drew tells him that it's all BS and everyone knows it. He goes on and on about being a champion without a championship. And at that point, we get Jacob's Fatu music hit, and he makes his way to the ring, looking pretty much like he is ready to kill someone. I'm very pleased to see him. As are the crowd, who are off the charts, and he grabs the mic from Drew, tells him to shut his ass up and stop bitching. He says you come out here every week and you cry and you complain and you blame everyone else for your mistake. He tells him he better sit his peg leg ass down. Drew grabs the mic back off him and tells him to shut up. The crowd chant Fatu. Drew starts to say if he wasn't hurt right now. Fatu takes the mic back and tells him, have you forgotten that I am all gas and no brakes? And Drew headbutts him, which is probably a life-limiting mistake against Fatu. And he gets his head pretty much kicked off by Fatu, who leaves him laying in the ring. I like this segment a lot. Really glad to see Fatu back and dropping some huge truth bombs on Drew, as Nick Aldis did also, to be fair. Drew versus Fatu, which is where I assume we are heading, is a match that I am totally here for, and I think that would be wild. We now go backstage, and we've got Tiffy. She is approached now by Stephanie. Stephanie says maybe we will meet in the ring at Crown Jewel. Tiffy says that she respects her, but at Crown Jewel it ends with her as champion. I do like how they are giving Stephanie some exposure as the new champ, and obviously I think it helps that we've got this, interbrand champion versus champion type PLE. But again, brand split, what brand split, right? I mean, at this point, who actually cares? The brand split is dead. It's dead. But I'm pleased that we're getting some more time for Stephanie and some more time with her on the mic, allowing her to practice, because I listened to something with her this week where she was saying that she... obviously, English is not her first language. She's taken a year and she wanted to go to NXT when she signed to give her extra time to work on her language skills. And she actually has to translate everything in her head as she's doing a promo, which must be terrifying when you've got a live mic and a script to follow. So I'm really pleased to see her with plenty of TV time. Now go to Sammy, who is thanking Phoenix for a great match, and he asks Sammy who he thinks is going to challenge him tonight. Sammy says that he doesn't know. It could be anyone from SmackDown, Raw, or even NXT as they are in Orlando. That match is coming up next, so let's see who he's going to be facing. I literally have no clue. Before that, we get a promo from Solo, following us as it's expected from the one last week where he calls out JC. He says he's an Olympic athlete who has won many championships across the world. He says he's pound for pound the strongest and baddest guy of all. He says when Fatu was acting like he was bigger than the family, who stepped up to him, JC did, and he loves him. JC tells Solo that he loves him, and we obviously continue this kind of pledging of allegiance back to Solo and ultimately the MFT. I hope they're planning on doing something different with these guys, as they are obviously keeping them together. And I don't hate it. I like factions, but I hope they don't just keep rehashing all the old Bloodline storylines. I think we need something a bit different. And that would be my challenge to the writing team at WWE, is to use the faction of the MFT for sure, but let's have something different. Back to the ring now, and we wait to see who will challenge Sammy, and it's Javon Evans, who I think we've seen before. He's from NXT. There's a massive NXT chant going up around the arena, and I do remember seeing this guy before. He's very athletic and has got some mad skills, so this should be a pretty wicked match. Sammy gets the upper hand first off, but Javon's not doing badly for sure. Sammy wisely slowing this match down though, as this guy is super fast, and we do have Sammy dominating. The crowd are a bit quiet, and I wonder if there's such a thing as too much exposure. Not for Javon Evans, obviously, but I'm thinking Sammy. He's been on every week, and I love Sammy. I think he's really talented, and I love the concept of this open challenge. But is there such a thing as being on TV too much? Question mark. Just ask him. This one ends after a flurry of moves from Javon Evans, with Sammy hitting a blue thunderbomb and getting the victory, retaining once again. I'm still loving this format. I'm enjoying seeing all the different challenges. And Sammy is doing a great job putting over his opponents, which is the point after all, and exactly what you'd expect from someone the stature of Sami Zayn at this point in his career. So I think it's brilliant, and I really hope long may it continue. Backstage again, and we've got Chelsea approaching Nia. And quick sidebar here, did you guys see the reports this week that apparently Piper Niven might not wrestle again? I don't know how true that is or how confirmed it is, but if that's true, I think that's gutting. I've read somewhere that it might be some kind of neck injury. We all know how dangerous that can be. So obviously I don't want to, be the spread of any untrue speculation. So we'll wait till it's confirmed, but hoping it's not true. Chelsea says to Nia she'd like to offer the position of the Secret Service with them. She gives her a flyer, but Nia tears it up and walks away. And then it's Nia's turn to bump into Stephanie. She tells her she could drop her here where she stands, but she'd rather wait and do it at Crown Jewel. And then that's the end of that bit. We go backstage. We've got Kit Wilson again with Damian Priest. Kit tells Damian he is the epitome of the toxic masculinity of the patriarchy. And that last week he didn't just slam him through a wall, he slammed him through centuries of patriarchal trauma. Kit stands up from his wheelchair that he's in. He's in a wheelchair and he's got a sling on, and tells Damian that he's toxic. and Damien tells him that bitches be tripping. It's all just a bit weird. Damien turns around and is met by Black Mass from Aleister Black, who tells him they seem to be getting somewhere now. And it looks like they're going to continue to do this until only one of them is left standing. Major clue, I think we're getting Priest versus Black in the Last Man Standing match coming up soon. Another decent segment, not totally sure what they're doing with this Kit Wilson and toxic masculinity stuff. It feels like a bit of a piss take to me, to be honest. But the Aleister Black Priest stuff is good. And if we are going to get a Last Man Standing match, I guess possibly at Crown Jewel, then that's cool. Now on to our main event. We've got Jade versus Nia versus Tiffy for the women's title. Once again, surely we aren't going to see the title change hands on a SmackDown. No offense, Orlando, Florida, but I just don't buy it. Cole tells us Tiffy is undefeated in 15 matches and is the third longest serving champion, Bianca Belair being the first, Becky Lynch being the second. Give Tiffy her flowers for that. That is quite some company she's in. I'm really hoping that she continues it tonight. Can't tell you how much I don't want to see Nia or Jade with the title. We kick off with Nia chucking both of the women around, and Tiffy, to be honest, must be nervous not to lose the title, but working with Nia, one of the most dangerous botchy women ever to work in WWE, and Jade, who has a pretty poor standard in her matches. Tiffy running rings round Jade, but Nia comes back in and gives her a massive clothesline. Tiffy with a dive through the ropes, and surprise, surprise, Nia botches catching her, leaving Tiffy pretty much chest planting on the outside. Tiffy and Jade work together to hit a superplex on Nia Jax, which was pretty cool. Jade with a pin, and it looks like she's going to win, but Nia drags the ref from the ring at the very last moment. Jade hits a Samoan drop on the steps, and Jade is busted open. She's covered in blood from a cut on her head, and I didn't see what happened. Did see what I thought looked like a load of blood on the floor near the steps, but then I thought they might be the sparkly bits off of her costume. But I'll need to go back and rewatch that because I didn't see how she got busted open at all. And then we get something weird happened. Tiffy delivers a drop kick on Nia. It goes for a cover and definitely gets a free count, but the ref says Nia got her shoulder up, despite Nia's shoulder not moving until after what would have been the free count. Tiffy then goes up for a moonsault on Nia and does get the win, retaining her title, thank God. But what happened at the end? It was a decent match. We have Stephanie versus Tiffy at Crown Jewel, which is cool. I'm genuinely really looking forward to seeing that one. And we get the obligatory face-off. I don't mind it. It's cool. Stephanie makes her way to the ring to face off with Tiffy, and something different, which is what we all want, right? All in all, an okay show tonight. That main event was a bit of a shocker. Maybe it's me, but Nia and Jade, I just can't get into either of them. And that weird pin, non-pin bit at the end, I'm going to go back and watch the main event again, I think, so I can doubly check what did or didn't happen with the weird non-fall pin thing. I want to see how Jade did get busted open, and I think just watch it again when I'm not, maybe typing notes out. Maybe I missed something, but I really want to see Tiffy get some new opponents, but there really isn't anybody. I know I've said this before, but when you look at the rosters, Raw has got an absolutely blooming massive, awesome women's roster. SmackDown has literally got these three, and then the others who were the mid-carders this week. There really isn't very much. And I don't know where we go next with Tiffy. I don't know if there's going to be a draft, a superstar swap or whatever they call it this year. But I do think some movement needs to happen because there's actually not much opposition for Tiffy, which is a shame. Apart from that, though, not a bad show, and Crown Jewel looks to be shaping up nicely. As I said, I don't know what the origin of Cena and AJ is other than fan power, but I definitely look forward to seeing that because, two of the greats, and AJ has had some amazing matches in the past. So looking forward to it. Guys, that just about does it for this week's show. Thank you for having me in your ears once again. And remember, until next time, be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.